Tessa Camp, we're going to come up for our closing session, but I would ask, and she probably doesn't see this coming, but Holly Wong, would you also join us on stage really briefly? So as we acknowledged at the beginning, Tessa and Susan are the co-chairs for Resilient Yolo, the collaborative, and Holly Wong, who you've all seen today, is our lovely event planner, and we just wanted to give a bouquet of appreciation to these three fine women leaders in our community who helped make today so successful. So please join me in thanking them again. They're for you. So thank you again. All right, and our closing session.
Thank you. I was wondering all morning, what are those flowers for? So anyway, one of the things that we always love to do, or me especially, I work as a consultant to many schools and organizations. I do this thing at the end called start, stop, and continue. And the way that I'm going to frame it is my way. And then I'm going to pass it to my other half, Tessa here, and she is going to frame it in a much better way. So start, stop, and continue is something that I use continuously. And based on what we learned today, what is something that you're going to start doing? Based on what we learned today, what's something that you see is possibly harmful? You want to do it a little bit differently, but you want to stop doing. And based on what we learned today, and you're a rock star, what's something that you're going to continue doing? Now I'm going to pass it to Tessa, and she's going to explain it in a completely more holistic way.
No pressure whatsoever. You know, there is one last slide. Can we put it up there? Well, no, it was head, heart, hands. Oh, there we go. Okay. Now, this is the way we would close out all those mental health first aid trainings where I met so many of you starting about 10, 12 years ago. At the end, we would talk about head, heart, and hands. You know, what is something that you learned today? Why is it important? What moved you? What touched you? What's your action in your heart step? And finally, what you gonna do with your hands? What are we going to do with the information that we have learned here today? What's that action step? What are we gonna move towards? Because we did come here together, we did connect together. We learned some things. Look, we smiled, we laughed. Well, you know there is some work to be done. So whether you look at it like the way Susan described it, or the way I described it, we want to just give us a chance to get up, to move around, to sit with head, heart, and hands. And so, have you all taken a deep breath since this morning? Tell me you have. Really, have you taken one? Okay, good. Because in the next room we have some tables with some poster paper on it and some markers. Those of you who have pens, though, please bring them. I just want you to kind of wander around the tables and put a little of what came through your head. What's giving you pause to think about today? You know, what's in your heart? What really touched you? And the big question, and we're going to ask this all the way through to the end, what you going to do? Okay? So poster paper, markers in the room next door, write anywhere, you know, and then we're going to come back in this room, we're going to bring our poster papers, and we're going to shout out some of those things. But while you're over there, guess what? That room is like half the size of this one. So that's going to make it close, and that's going to make it personal. And so as you go through, if you want to share with your neighbor, share with your neighbor. But every one of you, I know, because nobody in this room is really shy. We can't be shy doing the work we do. So when we bring the poster paper back over here, I'll be looking for somebody to help us read out some of the biggies that bubble to the top. Okay? So you get the sachet over to the next room, think, talk to your neighbor. Susan, how much time are we going to give them? Let's go about 50. Okay, 3:40, okay? So you have a chance to think, you have a chance to talk and network. 3:40. quick share out. We're going to hold on to those posters, take pictures of them, and post it on a Resilient Yolo website. But we wanted to close out and just say thank you very much. Don't get scared, we're taking names because you all are the most dedicated because you are still here. So I like to get to know you better. All right? So first, let's just go around the room right quick. And this is the closest poster to me. So can you share out the big takeaway on head, heart, and hands from your group? Come on, group.
Thank you for your
Mhm. Susan, take names. Okay.
I'm gonna go. Okay, so where do you want me to start? Anywhere?
Yours.
Okay, so I did ACEs screenings and PACE, incorporating that with the Safe House. And then something that really touched my heart was that one supportive person can lower the suicide rates in the LGBTQIA plus youth. And now something, what was this one again? Something that I learned, how important it is to collaborate with other organizations.
Exactly. Thank you so very much. You see a couple? Well, let's take a couple from each post, okay?
Something that I learned is that, my name is Ariel. I'm with Empower Yolo, and something that I learned is that I'm not alone. Being an ex-foster youth and having to experience adverse childhood experiences and now being a part of the change is amazing to see the transition.
And then one thing that I learned was the amount of support that there truly is in Yolo County, and I hope that we continue to have that support. Another thing that we can do is to be the one. One thing that touched my heart was that just one person can simply be the change.
So what I learned is we don't want to go back to normal. We want to bounce forward and just keep pushing. Something that really touched my heart was how high the poverty line is, and just it hurts a little bit to hear that. And I also want to focus on personal wellness because obviously we need to take care of ourselves to be able to help others.
Beautiful, beautiful. That is a good and healthy start. And if you could post that on the wall back there, thank you so much. Oh, there you go. Thank you. Oh, hey, guys, these are my new friends from Jingle Springs, Tana. They're over in West Sacramento. I just met them. So I want to make sure you know who they are, okay? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so for the head, we had self-care, support staff, and then we gained knowledge of other resources and organizations today. And then the heart, we said resilience, and then the ACEs reminder. We already knew about ACEs, but just having that just reminder and that passion come up again, and I was like, you know what, I got to start spreading the word more, because it really is important. And then the hand, we said share the knowledge and resources we learn, and then the wellness day for the staff.
That is huge.
Yes.
That is huge.
We had a conference last month, and an elder approached us because we had a gentleman that talked about the ACEs and brain spotting. And she said if she had known about the ACE and being able to do that assessment with herself, maybe she would have known some of those traumas that she had experienced and stuff. So I typed in that for her on Google and let her be able to bring up some of that information for herself. But she said as an elder, she wished she would have known this. So for us, it was an eye-opener to say, you know what, yeah, a lot of our elders don't understand or don't know that or don't have the resources or are not in the field of, behavioral health or whatever it may be. So it's important that we share that with them. So for us, it's that, okay, forward thinking, right? To helping our elders and even our young people, even ourselves, like Serena shared, we do know that, but it's that reminder of like, oh yeah, they're not in the field of doing the work as we're doing, correct? And stuff. And so I had shared with Serena of the wellness day. We have sick leave, vacation, bereavement leave, but we don't have a wellness day for our staff. So me as a manager, I'm working with our management staff, and working with our executive director and our tribal council to incorporate that for our staff so that they can do that to take care of themselves because that's important, right? All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And if you could post it so we can get a snapshot of it. Thank you. Come on up. Come on up. Ooh, there you go.
There's lots of art on here. Ooh, I'm very loud. So I just want to say I took away just a lot of like collaborative efforts. It was really nice to see so many different organizations that we are all three at Communicare that we already work with through Communicare, and then to continue those conversations and realize areas that we can continue to collaborate and make services more cohesive. I think my biggest takeaway was when Susan had said, not work-life balance, work-life integration. I think that was really impactful for me. So,
thank you.
oh, yeah, it's very loud.
I don't think I need this actually.
Okay.
I'm a pretty loud person anyway. So I think something I really learned today was that there's a lot of people that want to come together and make change and that want to collaborate. And I think it's easy to sort of feel sometimes like you're alone with all your ideas. So that was something that really stood out to me. I think in terms of the heart, I think it really stood out to me today just how uniquely resilient we all are, but at the same time, it's like unique resilience, but also a common resilience. And so that's sort of what the sun, moon, and stars was all about, was just sort of that, you know, there's always going to be a sun, there's always going to be a moon, even when you can't see it, there's always going to be some sort of light. And that sometimes when it feels like everything's changing around us, we just need to hold on to the one thing we know is constant. And sometimes that's just that the sun's going to rise that morning. And then in terms of doing, I think what really stood out to me today was there's really simple things that we can do, like just sending someone a text that's like, hey, how are you doing? And I know for me, when I've received those texts, I just feel seen and heard. And I think sometimes it's easier to forget that it takes 5 seconds to let someone else feel that same way.
Very nice. Very nice. Thank you.
For myself, one of the key takeaways was the
You want
testing. I'm not going to blow out any eardrums. All right. How well can I project? Okay. So one of the things that I heard that stuck with me really well was the strong correlation between employee burnout and the relationship with your direct supervisor or manager. And that just highlighted for me that I'm in such a great place right now. And that contrasts so heavily with previous roles that I got. And I feel like there's many that could probably relate to that, being grateful for where we're at now. What hit the heart for me is the idea that there isn't physical health and then mental health. It's all health, right? You're either healthy or you're not, and you can do things across the board to make that happen. And so trying to pound that into everybody's level of understanding is something that I feel is really important to me. And as far as hands, what I'm going to start doing a little more is reaching out and checking in more into the well-being of my coworkers, because every once in a while I realize that I somewhat function as an island within the organization, and we're really big on busting down silos. And so just checking in and making sure that everybody that I work with around me is doing all right is going to make things better, not just for them, but for everybody in the environment. Checking in with each other. Care on purpose, right?
Let's stick it on this door right here. And then
The 60's at the bottom, so it's going to be upside down.
that's okay. We'll work with that.
Our resilience.
Absolutely. Because we can still read that. You know? Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay. So for HEAD, I wrote, many of our community's most pressing issues are not funded. I feel like especially root causes of many of the issues that we're working on. For HEART, I said, so many people with common goals in one room, we can do this. I know for myself, I've been the only person on my project for the last 3 months, and sometimes that can feel really lonely, but seeing everybody together in one room working on similar issues makes me feel like we can really do this. And then hands, I said, first rest, then fight.
That was good.
Okay. Good job, Nicole. Are we good? No.
So for head, I put we need to make space in communities that are accepting of real human beings, and so being our authentic selves. And then for heart, that there can be a work-life balance and authentic relationships, especially in the workplace or in the field. And then for hands, get involved in what you are passionate about.
Thank you. Thank you. Has everyone's voice been entered in this space? Yeah? Rosa, is that you? I don't think I heard your voice yet. And then don't worry about we're gonna let Rosa speak and Diane's voice come in this space, and then guess what? We're gonna go, okay, then bye. Because it is getting we're heading towards that time. I think Anthony might have some closing words. There you go. Come on up here. Sitting back there all quiet like that. Yes, you did.
I'll hold. How about that? I'll hold this.
Oh, well, we put a brain for the head, but it's hard to tell it's a brain. So just so you know, that's what it is. Well, one of you guys explain.
Oh gosh. We just talked about ACEs impact building resilience for child and parent. So it not only affects the children, which it's also the parent, because we have come from cultures and other times that our parents did not know any better. They were trying to do their best as parenting, and then me as a mother as well, and then my kid. And so, with ACEs can hit very hard, but it's coming from a history of our family. And with hope, our lives will be better. If we are always hoping for things that can happen, will happen, and life will be better for not only us where we work at, but also for who we serve. And in total, it will also be a benefit for our families, ourselves, and around us. And that's all I'm talking. It's your turn now.
So for hand, we just wanted to highlight that we wanted to implement more of the parenting classes, because we feel like doing more informing parents about the impact of ACEs and how it could affect the parent, but also the child if it's passed on to the child. And also just active listening. So giving the parents or the clients that we're serving, giving them a chance to debrief what's going on instead of giving them the solutions of what they could do. So just providing the resources. So that's kind of like what we want to do, help them build the 5 protective factors by providing the resources. And just also with our team that we work, we want to do more activities together, just to get to know how we're all doing, and self-care. That's kind of like my own takeaway from today. Just having that conversation, and even like how the other groups mentioned, just doing like maybe a text or checking with everyone in our organization, just to make that feeling of the community. So not just making parents feel comfortable if we're working with parents. And I say it because I work with a parenting support group, but it's just also checking in with ourselves, because sometimes we're helping the clients, but also just focusing on ourselves. What do I need? Because at the end, when they were talking about, we sometimes forget about our needs and our what we really want to get out of who we're serving as well. And then one of the things that was also mentioned was the cooking classes to link to food banks. So we kind of remembered that the food bank was offering cooking classes, so that's kind of like also how they mentioned at the last on the panel, like just making sure that families also know that if they're healthy or wealthy, then they could help their children or the community as well.
Well, thank you all so much. I'm going to ask Anthony to come up for some closing words. Some of our sharing this afternoon really kind of went a little deeper on the fact that trauma-informed care without equity is not trauma-informed care. And if you go to the PACES connection, they'll speak a lot more about that. So our partnership our understanding that what people need, how they're feeling can look different across cultures, has everything to do with being trauma informed. Now, you know I could get started, but it is 4 o'clock. I better give this over because I know you and you and you and you, we could carry on, but I'm just going to go like this. Here you go.
I want to briefly share about the collaborative on meetings on Friday.
What? Yeah. Oh, guys, listen. We haven't invited you to come to Resilient YOLO yet. We have a Resilient YOLO meeting the second Friday of every month from 11 to 12:15. So just a small window of time where we stay connected, where we make more plans. This has really been a signature event for Resilient YOLO for many years. We didn't ask you head, heart, hands without wondering what we're going to do next. What are we going to do next? So, second Friday of every month, I think we'll just send out an email blast and invite everybody that came to the conference today. So we won't miss you. You'll know who we really talking about, those who stay to the end. All right? Thank you so much.
No, yes, please thank them. And I know there's a few watching online. Thank you for staying with us and joining us as well. So for all of you, if you want, please grab as much food as you want. Swag bags. We also have books for teens, which are going to be going out. So if you know teens or you want some books, come and grab them. There is a QR code that will come up. And if not, it is out on your way out. You can scan it. It'll also be on your post-event evaluation. Holly's holding it up right there. And again, thank you for staying till the very end, and thank you again just for joining in community with all of us today. It was just very well appreciated from the planning team and just everyone that was able to participate. So thank you.